Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Warnick, Program Coordinator for Multi-Region Purchasing Co-op, and welcome to the pre-recorded pre-bid conference video. I always do a pre-recorded video because I find it easier to reach more companies. It allows you to watch this pre-recorded video at your own leisure and when you've got the time. And always, if you have any questions after watching this video, all of our questions about the new solicitations that Multi-Region Co-op is about to release should be entered into Bonfire or Euna because it's owned by Euna now in that program. All right. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time going through a lot of details about the four new bids we are releasing. So one is a full line grocery distributor that also includes processed commodities passing through a distributor as fee for service or modified fee for service, NOI or closed SKU NOI. We have a bid for ice cream novelties. That is a direct delivery of ice cream products. We've got a bid going out for manufacturer direct to district. These are some of our larger districts that want a large bulk delivery to their warehouses. And then we have a sanitation systems and safety training bid that will be going out. All of these bids are released on March 10th, which is Tuesday. And three of them will be opened on April 7th. And our largest, the full line grocery distributor bid, will be opened on April 23rd. Now, all of these bids have many documents in common. There are standard terms and conditions that apply to all the bids, USDA regulations, Texas state regulations, an evaluation rubric, how we will score and award each of the bids. There may be pricing areas or pricing groups, delivery groups. Can't remember how I tag them. That's for the full line grocery bid. Our ice cream bid requires that those of you interested in responding to this opportunity will place a yes or a no next to each district that is participating to let us know. You can reach them and deliver ice cream products. Same with the sanitation systems. You'll have a choice of who you offer a bid price to. And then manufacturer direct, that's pretty typical of which schools have been using this bid all along. All right, I'm going to jump into the documents. We're also going to look at Bonfire. If you're not familiar, it's a very easy program to navigate. I will tell you that the solicitation terms, conditions, regulations, that is simply a read through for you. I have really streamlined this bid to as few documents as possible that require your completion and signature. So you're not having to sign every single page for regulations. There is literally one agreement of compliance that covers the whole kit and caboodle, right? So hopefully you'll find an easier time filling out the paperwork. All of our documents are Adobe fillable forms. That means you will download them from the Bonfire program, open them up in Adobe Acrobat, fill in the required fields, digitally sign the document, save it to your computer, then upload it into Bonfire. I'm a very sensitive person about having to print paper. This is a 100% electronic bid. If you just really have to print your documents and physically sign them, we accept that as well. It just requires you to have to scan them back in and upload them. So we've tried to kind of cut out some of that workload for you and cut out some of that paper and ink usage. Okay, I'm 100% paper-free desk, so you can only imagine. I'm, yes, very honed in on that. Let me share my screen and let's take a look at the solicitation document first so we can kind of talk about that. I'm going to just kind of quickly review some of those fillable forms so you get a gist of what those involve. I will tell you that I'm going to go through all the things that are required, and then I'm going to touch on each of the bids. I'm going to hold off for the full line grocery at the end. For those of you that are doing ice cream, manufacturer direct, and sanitation systems, you won't need to stay for the full line grocery because there are some very specific niche things about that bid that really don't apply to your bids. So hang in there, and then I'll let you know when we're done with those. All right, let me get this shared and pull up the right document first. And I'm just simply going to use one of the examples of the solicitation. So, and if I look really bright, I have new monitors and they're big. So I feel like I have this beacon of light coming from my monitors now. All right. What you're looking at is a multiple page, and I know you can probably see that it's got 69 pages. So it is a little bit long, but these are all the things combined together, whereas in past, we've sort of had them as standalone documents. What I have attempted to do with this system is bring all the terms and regulations together because those are what you need to understand and be familiar with. So this is a read through for you. There's nothing in the document titled solicitation that requires you to complete or sign anything, but you do need to know what it says because if you become an awarded vendor with Multi-Region Co-op, you will be held to these terms and conditions and regulations. So it's very important. Every solicitation starts with the cover letter and introduction. We then move into, and you'll notice that each of the page footers have a code for what the document is, when it was revised, and then the name of the document and page 1 or 2 of how many pages to that particular section of the solicitation. So quite a bit of refinement on clarity of where you are in the document and how many pages for that particular section that you might be reviewing. New this year, solicitation information sheet. This is everything at you in about 4 pages, shy of all the nitty gritty terms and conditions and such. But we're giving you, who's releasing this bid, who do you contact, primary and secondary. All of our bids are requests for proposals. Types of goods and services requested, just a brief explanation of what this particular solicitation is about. We do our best to require all of our members to forecast, and they did a pretty good job this year. It's not a perfect world yet, but we're working on that. But we do ask for them to forecast. We run a cost analysis, and it is how we determine the value of the contracts, which is also shown in this information sheet. Now we're looking at the full line grocery. I did separate it out because there are 3 aspects to this bid. It's so much fun. First initial term is outlined here. This is a 26 to 27 bid, 4 single consecutive 1-year renewal options. That applies to all of our bids. And then, of course, we do encourage you to offer a discount if schools pay within 7 to 10 days of receiving an invoice. Some may not get to you until 30 days. Some are held to board approval for I don't know what, but we are working hard to deliver a message that quicker payment makes for a better business relationship. And that is a big focus I have this year and have had in past. You are watching the Pre-Bidders Conference. We do post a legal notice, an online advertisement with the electronic State Business Daily. And that is through the State of Texas Comptroller's Office and the Smart Buy program. So all the ads are in there, but you received a personal invitation. So that's why you're getting to watch this video maybe, or you did look at the ad online and got to our webpage and here you are. The bid opened or opens, depends on when you're watching this, 6 a.m. on Tuesday, March 10th. Where do you submit questions? All questions through Bonfire. Those will get answered, and anyone who has logged into Bonfire and looked at the specific opportunity will receive a copy of the question and the answer. So it is extremely transparent, and if one person is thinking it, most likely there is another person thinking it. We do have a due date on the question, so pay attention to that. We had feedback. It would be nice to have the question due date end about a week before the bid closes. So that was just some feedback we'd gotten from some manufacturers. We do not do a public opening for any of our RFPs. It is not required federally or statewide in regulation. That is because we do a very extensive evaluation of the bids, and while pricing is the heaviest weighted factor and component to the evaluation, rubric, it is not the only factor. We do look at a lot of different things, and we're going to take a look at that here in a minute. You'll see the evaluation dates and our goal for bid award date. We do our best to get all of our bids awarded by the end of the first week in May so that all vendors can get opening orders from our districts. All right. I've also included a list of what you'll find in the solicitation packet, attachments for review, and then attachments that require your attention, meaning you've got to either enter pricing, you've got to fill this out and sign it and submit it. So you can see it's rather a short list, even though I don't see oh, there it is, the agreement of compliance form. So not too bad. And then, of course, a little statement about the entire agreement. Now, evaluation rubric is right after that solicitation information sheet. This is how we are going to score and award a vendor or vendors. Some of our bids do have multiple vendors because some of you have limited delivery areas, and we are a very spread out co-op. Currently, we are 283 member districts that span amongst the 15 of the 20 ESC regions. So we are a little large, but you can take a look at that once you step into the solicitation packet. Now, these are Adobe PDFs, but it still has an interactive table of contents for standard terms. There should be one for special terms. If they're not, my apologies. I've been working on this like mad, but you can look at any of these things and you might just, want to click on that. It'll take you right to that page and right to that item number. So you wanted to review anything about samples, various things. You can see how many pages to standard terms if you wanted to jump to, say, page, I don't know, 35, because I don't think the first page is counted. Whoops. Oh, hang on. Why didn't that go? Here we go. Yes, special terms. Did not get that table of contents in there. It's not too long. It's, 7 pages there. The special terms are all about food, such as Buy American provision, any kind of special USDA and state regulations in regard to all the meal pattern requirements and whole grain rich and Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act, all those good fun things. What are the sodium levels right now? Who can keep up? Added sugars. We're looking at all of this. One thing I want to point out about all the bids, with exception to sanitation systems, is that we require you to indicate if any of the food products you offer do not meet the Buy American provision. And you will see in the bid tables, there's a new column that it's not a new column, but it's about the justification. If a non-domestic product is offered by you, you'll indicate a no, it doesn't meet the Buy American, and then you're going to provide us with which justification are you using for that non-domestic product. So it's either an A or a B, and you'll see in the bid tables and in a special sheet, A is if it's on the FAR list, not produced in the US or produced in fewer quantities. B is just cost reasonable. Those are the only 2 allowable justifications by USDA. And so you'll just be simply entering an A or B, and then you'll move on. Now, you know what's coming. So, and obviously full line grocery bid is going to have a lot of information about the value pass-through methods for processed commodities. Now, you're all aware, hopefully, that Texas has a new law, Senate Bill 314, which is all about prohibited ingredients. That law sits with Texas Education Agency, who has turned it into a Texas Education Code. What that means is that school districts are adhering to the Texas Education Codes, and many of our districts have already said to their food service departments, we will adhere to the Senate Bill 314. We are looking at everything that might have a prohibited ingredient, and that you need to be aware that if it does have a prohibited ingredient, which you're going to need to call out, not the ingredient, but just tell us yes or no. It's got a blue dye or a yellow dye. It's got caramel coloring. There's going to be a column in the bid table where you answer yes or no on food products. Schools may not be allowed to purchase products with prohibited ingredients. So we'll accept, obviously, bids for foods that contain some of these things, but this is to inform you that while it's on the bid, it may not be purchased. And as we go along in the beginning, we're going to be working really hard on our side to tag what's in those products. So ingredients are important. If you are offering products that don't come with any ingredient list on the nutritional label or and every branded product should be in the GDSN, shy of products that fall into the category of, product of identity, like fresh produce. Not worried about those as much, but if we can't get the ingredients, schools will not be able to buy the products because they have to be able to confirm, does it have a prohibited ingredient or not? It's going to be an interesting school year, I will tell you that. Then we get into the USDA federal regulations. And again, this is a read-through document. Again, you've got this table of contents, and then it scrolls and ends with the Texas state regulations down here, and probably making you go blind, and another table of contents. This is the solicitation, shy of any forms that are required to be completed. And now you've gotten a really great look at what this document looks like. Now, we do include what's called a vendor response checklist. So this is for you to understand all the documents in Bonfire. What type of document are they? Are they just for reference? Are they just a simple bid attachment that needs to be completed, as I've indicated here? Or have we requested documents that you must provide? Some of the documents will come directly from you, such as the Form 1295. If you are a publicly traded company, this is not required. We do require financial health and stability documents. There's an outline of what you can submit. I'm not asking for a complete credit, report. I don't need to see your bank account, statements. If you've gone through a financial audit recently, your financial audit score suffices. A letter from your bank just simply stating that your accounts are in healthy, good condition. Things like that. Pretty easy. Certificate of insurance is only required if you're awarded. So if you receive a notification of award after we've evaluated, we will ask you for that certificate of insurance. So just to be aware, HACCP procedures are required. If you are historically underutilized business, such as small, women, minority owned, veteran owned, or labor surplus, you have to submit your certificates. We need to see something in the way of a document that states your recall procedures. Even if it's just a paragraph or a paragraph of how you handle those and who handles those in your company. Don't need names, but maybe position titles. Just your procedures. It doesn't have to be a complete book by any means. We just need to understand what are the steps you're going to take if you're notified of a recall. And of course, a current W-9. And I will say this must be immediately signed or currently signed. So the minute you're ready to submit your bid response, pull out a fresh W-9, date and sign it and submit it. Schools are very particular, and I think even in audits, if something is out of range by a whole year, they don't consider it acceptable. I don't make these rules, but anyway, just to be aware, some of the little specialty things about some of these documents you're going to submit. Now, let's talk about these fillable Adobe forms. This is the agreement of compliance, and this basically says that you declare and confirm you will adhere to everything in all the documents of the solicitation, our standard and special terms, any conditions listed, federal regulations, state regulations, local laws, rules, and regulations, provisions, laws, and regulations. And you've offered products that match the product description or the item listed, and that you have entered your pricing accurately. You are going to fill out these fields, and they are all set up that you can type in whatever and tab to each field in order. A digital signature can be applied if you prefer to print this and physically sign it, perfectly acceptable. So this is what these look like. Anything in a red outline is a required field. So you must complete the information in fields that are outlined in red. If they are not outlined in red, it probably means it's optional information or may not apply to you or your company. And so those are not required fields. So don't worry about them unless they apply to you. So that's what a fillable form looks like. And there are many. There's a conflict of interest form. If you don't have any conflicts of interest, you can simply check this box and then sign down here or place your initials. Delivery requirements, we want to know. Does your company have any kind of special delivery requirements, like a minimum order and a certain dollar amount, a minimum number of cases? Most likely, this will apply to the manufacturer direct delivery bid. You may have something with ice cream or even a full line grocery situation. So just be mindful of that and get all that filled out. Disclosure of lobbying form. I've made it very easy. So if you don't participate in lobbying, you can simply check this box and then complete this down here. If you do, you're going to need to fill out all these fields. So just, there you go on that one. GDSN registration. So we do use a program that allows us to load our awarded bid catalogs into a software program that is linked to the Global Data Synchronization Network. And we do require that every branded product on bid is registered in the GDSN and also currently registered through the Nurse to Flourish database. Now, if it is not, we do require this, and that means you might have to work with some of the manufacturers that you represent and offer in a bid response. This helps us stay up to date with current product data, and it is so crucial to the successful operation for our food service directors. It is not difficult. We understand that the manufacturers do have to pay for getting their products registered, but it's a minimal amount. When we're talking about this is where we're headed in the K-12 industry, we've been very behind, and to have access to current data is just needed. That means we are asking for the appropriate global trade identification number in the bid table, a G10. Super important. If we see blanks, we're going to turn around and send it back to you. So I'm letting you know up front, this is really important to us, and we are requiring this information. So there are fields you'll have to fill out saying that, yes, you understand, and you're confirming and declaring you will get all offered products with brand names in that GDSN with manufacturers, or if it's your company, and all the good stuff. So that is what that one is about. Vendor participation fees. This is the way Multi-Region Co-op stays in operation. We do not charge our members a direct membership fee. Instead, we do have a vendor participation fee in place. It is 0.0085 of total revenue sales, and that is a fixed flat rate. And no, we do not call it a percentage because percentages are not allowable when it comes to this in child nutrition formal solicitations. So this is you agreeing you must initial that yes, you will submit the quarterly revenue sales report, and we do pre-format this and we send it to you, and it is something you will use for each quarter. So you don't even have to create your own spreadsheet. We do that for you. It even calculates how much you owe us once you drop in the dollar amounts for each district you're providing service or products to. And you agree that that's the rate. We give you the quarters and how they lay out and when payments are due. Basically, it's a 45-day turnaround time from the end of the quarter to when your payment is due. And the way it works, you will submit your report to us. We will create an invoice, send it to you, and then you will make the payment. That is Angela McCrary, our administrative assistant, who handles all of this. So that's what that one's about. Obviously, vendor references. And I will tell you, this is part of the evaluation rubric. This is how we score the reputation of vendor. And we do ask for you to give us at least 3 to begin with. Hopefully good references. We do prefer school references. If you just haven't ever worked with schools, then obviously company names will suffice, but hopefully you've been in the K-12 industry for a little while, or maybe you're new, and that's okay. We will attempt to get 3 references. If we cannot get one of the references or 2 of the references to respond, we will ask one time for another good reference. If we cannot get any to respond, this could hurt the evaluation score because we really do try. So I really encourage you before you go and enter a school district name, a contact name, phone number, and email address, check with that person. Make sure that they're, number one, allowed to respond to a reference check. Some schools don't allow that, and that you've got the good working phone number and email address. So just, get that in there, make it right, right? Okay. We include eBid instructions to kind of help you navigate Bonfire, but we are going to look at it today. This just kind of lays out all the different things that you will encounter in Bonfire, but it's a great program that has a lot of assistance. So you can watch vendor videos. They've got a help button if you need to ask a question, if you're having a technical issue with Bonfire. I know a little bit from a vendor side, but if you want to ask a question, I may have to turn you over to Bonfire for an answer. But, hopefully you'll have an easy time. Probably a majority of you have worked through Bonfire before. Okay, let's talk about a few things about the spreadsheets you are going to see. So first, some of the bids have, well, actually just one, the ice cream bid has a members list that you will, in the first column, give us a yes or no. You can reach that district and service that district and deliver products. That is a required spreadsheet you must fill out and submit. That is the only bid out of the 4 bids we have right now. With sanitation systems, the list of districts is part of the bid table. So if there is a district that you cannot offer service to, you will just have a no bid on that particular district. Now, there is a members list in each one of these bids. Sanitation systems gives you the full list of members and then also every campus, along with a lot of other details about how many campuses have dish machines, how many don't, what are their ADPs and things like that. With the full line grocery distributor bid, that has been broken out into 4 quadrants or delivery groups, pricing areas, whatever you want to call it. I did have these areas looked at by a GIS analyst and based on main highways and roads and how we are all spread out. And in the past, we have kind of done just the regions, but this time we really kind of, because we have gained districts since this bid went out, and we've spread out a little further in the east, west, south direction. We have now created a north, central, south, and west quadrant. So if you're the full line grocery distributor looking to respond to this opportunity and you look at this members list, you will see there's a tab that has every single district participating on this bid with some information, their main address, which ESC region, where they're located, their current enrollment, the counties they sit in, are they a 5-day-a-week school, and also the number of campuses that you will be required to deliver to. Now, I also went ahead and separated them into a north, central, south, and west group. So you can see what's involved in each of those groups. You are allowed to bid only one group if you want. If you only want to bid the north group, that is absolutely acceptable. If you want to bid north and south group, go ahead. If you want to offer separate pricing for each one of those standout groups and also offer one price for all the districts, no matter which group they're in, that is also acceptable. So you get to pick and choose how you want to approach that. You'll see in the bid table that there is a column for each one of these quadrants and an all groups, meaning you're going to offer the same price for that one product to every district, no matter where they sit. So we try to make it fair and competitive, and we will be evaluating very carefully each group. And then, of course, all group pricing against each group. Okay, that's how that works. All right, what else can I show you here? Bonfire bid table. Now, the Bonfire bid table is a little different in that when you download this table to get ready to enter your pricing, and I pulled an older one so I can show you what it looks like so you know what to expect. It's going to download looking like this. And when you first download it, all of these will be showing as a no bid. All right, it's going to show as a no bid. You're going to have a little message over here on the status. Of course, there won't be anything in your vendor columns, but the first few columns are what we provide you. So we are going to provide you with the product description or product name that our districts have forecasted, a recommended manufacturer brand or label, a recommended manufacturer product code, and of course, or equal on either one of those because the product description overrides any recommended unless it's the process commodity list, which we'll talk about at the end of this. We are also going to give you the pack size and the servings per case that our schools forecasted on. So you can understand if they're asking for, in this case, estimated quantities, 253 cases based on 219 servings, it gives you an idea of the volume. Now, this happens to be our commodity sheet that I pulled from last year on a bid. We tell you the value pass-through method, and then of course we have a commodity price. Now, obviously, if this is an ice cream bid, you're not going to see a price from us. If it's the commercial food or non-food, you're not going to see a price from us. It's only on commodities. You see that. But there are a set of vendor columns as well, where you will need to enter in, and I probably pulled a bad one, but we're going to look at the bid table in Bonfire. Where you're going to enter in your cost, your price, delivered price. So when you start dealing with this, if you want to bid a product, offer a product, you will select the no bid, you will change it to bid, and then you will be required to fill in the blanks in your vendor columns. Each of our bid tables does have auto calculating columns for things that we want to see. We want to break it down to a per serving cost. We may want to break it down in a various way for our sanitation systems bid. So you may see those automatically calculating columns, but that's nothing you have to worry about or have to enter anything into. So this is kind of what it will look like. All right, let's move on. Hopefully everything's feeling pretty clear for you. Now, every project, when you click on the link to access our public opportunities, and 6 a.m. on March 10th, all 4 will be listed here. Once you click on that link in the eBid instructions, which was included in an email, but also included in the advertisement in the electronic state business daily, you click on that link to take you to our Region 10 portal, you will land here. And if you have accessed and logged into Bonfire before, you'll simply up here in the right-hand corner, click on Login. If you have not, you will click on Register, and then you will register as a vendor. And then you will have the ability to access our opportunities and select the one that fits the interest you might have. Now, I am not seeing this from a vendor perspective, but I'm showing you from my perspective. And every project, so let's say you access the full line grocery project, and that's what it's called in Bonfire. Every project is going to have a details link over here on the left navigation panel, and it looks like this. And usually there's a little graph up here. I don't know if they went away with that once Euna took over. I don't see it. It's going to tell you, obviously it's not going to be in draft form. It's going to tell you, the reference number, that this is an RFP, the project type, who's the owner, and it's in purchasing department. The title is up here. You get somewhat of a description of what is this solicitation about, and then you get the date line. So here is the posting date, so March 10th at 6 a.m. The deadline to submit questions, deadline for submissions, and deadline to evaluate. So you get the full list of all those important deadlines that you need to be very aware of so that you don't miss out on the opportunity. In the Files section, left-hand navigation panel over there, and you click on Files, you won't be seeing internal files, but you will see public files and any attached files from messages. Sometimes I'm human. It's rare. Just kidding. And there's a little something we have to amend or update in a document, and I may have to create a second version. Crossing my fingers that doesn't happen this go round, but so far to date, I've proved my humanness every time I put new bids out. So there may be an attached updated file from a message, but it will tell you if there are any. You'll see that 0 right now. Obviously, there's nothing about that, but public files are 14. These are the files you want to download. And you see there's that members list, that solicitation we reviewed in link. There are the forms. I include those bid table instructions, all the forms. Anything that requires you to fill in the blanks and sign ends in the word form to make it easy to understand. The full list. Then, of course, you've got that vendor's checklist. So over here, you can click on the down arrow. Now, yours is just going to say download. You won't have the ability to edit or delete. I think that you can do a bulk download, maybe. There might be, oh, yes, over here, a bulk action. I can't access this because it's not public yet, but there is a bulk action that you could, maybe if I do that. Oh, yeah. If you click this little, I just love learning as I go. You click the check mark up here in the top left of the gray bar. That allows you to download all the documents sitting there. So would be my recommendation than picking and choosing so you don't forget anything. So these are all the forms you want to download. Next in messages, but yours is called vendor discussion. This is where you will ask a question. Now, right now, because I'm a user, it looks a little different, but you'll have a place where you will be able to enter a question and submit it. I get emailed. I will then log in. I will answer your question publicly. And anyone who's logged in, as I mentioned before, will receive the answer to the question. If I have to attach a message or attach a document, then obviously that'll show up in the vendor discussion. You'll be able to download that new document. We're crossing our fingers that doesn't happen. All right. Then the requested information. And I don't know what all you guys can see over there on the left-hand side, but these are the important areas. So the requested information are all the forms that are required for you to upload. Now, I know this looks hefty, but keep in mind, all of those fillable Adobe forms and everything is grouped to be very clear to you. So we've got all these fillable Adobe forms. It shouldn't take you too long to fill out and upload. And it even tells you you've got to upload it in what format? PDF. If we require that it is uploaded in Excel version, it's going to tell you Excel version, such as the bid pricing tables. But we've made it very clear. Required other documents are those documents you must provide. Optional are those documents that if they are applicable. So you notice the form 1295 is an optional because if you're publicly traded, it's not required. You may not be historically underutilized, small woman, minority owned, so forth. You wouldn't have any certificates to upload. And there's always an open slot for other documents. If there is something you need to upload that does not fit into this list of required documents, maybe you've got something else you want to submit. We don't ask for nutritional labels because we're requiring you to make sure that all food products and even non-food products that are branded be in the GDSN where we can see all the product data. So we're not asking for nutritional labels. But if there's something else you feel like you want to share with us and upload, then please feel free to do so. So that's the requested information. Now, when you get ready to upload and submit your documents, can't remember what it looks like over here, and I apologize, but there is a ready to submit section where you will click on that, and then you will have containers or the next, as it goes through the required documents, and you will upload that. Now, unless things have changed in Bonfire since Euna took over, previously in Bonfire, if you attempted to upload an Excel spreadsheet in a slot that calls for a PDF, it would not let you do that. And of course, vice versa. Or if you try to upload a Word document in a PDF formatted requirement, it won't let you upload. Same goes if you try to upload PDF in Excel, not going to work. Now, also Bonfire wouldn't let you submit your solicitation response if you had not satisfied all the required documents. I don't know if it's the same, but I'm hoping it is because that saves you. But that's where you fall back on that vendor checklist and make sure, did you get all the forms filled out and ready to submit? Now, I will tell you that this is a request for proposal. While it is tagged as a sealed bid in the system, and we don't really open anything or download anything until that closing due date and time, if anything is missing, such as maybe you failed to sign somewhere, or maybe you uploaded the same document for two different documents, you played your human card, we're going to reach back out to you and ask for a correction. What this does in the criteria for responsible and responsive vendor, it dings you 1 point. So each place where you have a missing signature or failed to submit the document or uploaded a wrong document, that's just a 1 point ding off of the 15 points you could receive for being responsible and responsive. So do your best. You don't want to get dinged on those points. Those are easy points to get. So I just wanted to kind of remind about that. All right, this is Bonfire. Very easy. If you need help, use the help button down here in the bottom. There is well, I don't know why that little thing won't get out of the way. There's a blue question mark, and that's their help section. And there are articles and videos, or you can reach out directly to Bonfire if you're having kind of a technical issue. If it's a question about some of our documents or just the solicitation itself, please drop that into the vendor discussion section and ask that question. All right. If you are not a full line grocery distributor, you may leave now. And thank you for watching. And let me know if you have any questions. And Bonfire, once you log in, if you log in, you look at the documents and you think, oh, this isn't going to work out. We do appreciate a no response from you, and don't see that I've uploaded it yet, but there will be a no response form in, wait, I think it's in the file section. Hang on, I'm going to claim forgetfulness here. Yes. In the files section, there is a no bid response form. And if you were personally invited, or maybe you reviewed it and you stepped in and looked at everything and decided, no, this is not for us, or for whatever reason you can't respond, please, I encourage you to fill that out and email it directly to me. And those directions are in that form. We want a clear understanding if distributor decides to not bid as to why. It helps us with future opportunities and to ensure that, we have not created something that is overly restrictive. So just know that form is there in the files section. All right. Thanks, everyone that is not full line grocery distributor. But if you want to stick around, feel free. I want to talk about the bid tables for full line grocery distributors, and there are 3 of them. And I'm going to explain the reason for 3 different bid tables. Now, we have separated the items specified into 3 categories. One is fresh produce, and we do ask for the most recent month's worth of pricing on the products specified in that list. Also, it's a list to review, because if there are any products that you just don't think you'll offer, and quantities are included, then we want you to no bid those products, because we need to have a very clear picture to our districts of what is going to be available. And if there's something that is just never available through your distributorship, please don't give a price and then we go along through the whole year and we can't get it, because that's just it's not fair to think that we can get something, but then we really can't. So please be honest. And if you just don't stock it and you don't think you'll ever stock it, or the volume is too low, then just don't bid that item. It's helping us because we can help our districts look at other comparable things. Same for the commercial foods and non-foods. So that is a separate bid table. These are foods and non-foods that our members have forecasted. Some have some pretty low volumes. You are allowed to offer one alternate to a specified product. We do ask that if it's a product that just has the lowest volume, you know that it's not currently stocked at your distributorship, and there's no way you're going to be able to bring that product in. Please no bid it or offer an alternate. Because again, it's frustrating to the districts when we see pricing on a product, but then it just never was able to be brought in because it just ends up the volume really was too low. And I know it's tricky as distributors. Many of us co-ops are going out for bids, and maybe you don't know exactly what you might bring in because other co-ops are also purchasing same products. But we are working hard to get our bid to be a little tighter. And so, and I know you've heard this from me for 10 years now. I have a goal. I have a hard, long-term goal here. But you'll notice that the number of items looks a little better this time. 3,100 on the commercial foods and non-foods, only 800. And I say that because that's down from previous years on our USDA commodity foods. And yes, 290 on that fresh produce. But again, could be some comparable or similar items already on bid that could easily no bid, and let's drive members to the more popular items. We tried really hard this year. There is a USDA processed commodities bid table. It is a little different setup than the other two because we capture pricing to distributor in our commodity bid. So you're going to see that pricing, and what you will enter is your delivery fee per case or your markup fee, which is a fixed firm fee per case. Please do not enter a percentage. That is unallowable in child nutrition. It must be a fixed firm price, whether it's a low or, you've got a fixed delivery fee of something low on every case, or maybe it's different for different types of commodities, or you do some other calculation to get to how you're going to mark that up. But we will need to see that. You will see that delivered to distributor price. You'll see noted if it's fee for service or NOI. And let's see, oh, I'm going to open up one of those just really quickly here so you can take a quick look at kind of how that looks. You get to see my trail of 1,000 things. Here we go. So it's going to look obviously a little different coming out of Bonfire, but you can see this is all the information we have provided you in that bid table for USDA processed commodity foods. Case pack, number of servings, our captured, awarded, delivered to distributor price. And then, of course, all of these products, every product listed here, our school districts banked pounds for each of these products. And we did try hard this year for estimated quantities, which for some reason I'm not seeing here. I'm gonna have to correct that. What in the world? The estimated quantities will be in here. If for some reason you look at a quantity and you know you cannot bring it in to your warehouse, please go ahead and no bid that. If you've got a comparable alternate that is already stocked, go ahead and offer that up. If you don't, it's okay. Just go ahead and no bid it because we need to be very clear with the members what gets awarded and what doesn't. Even though they banked pounds with it, there are other options on bid so they can pivot to something else and still use their pounds. So we want it just to be very clear. And I will get the estimated quantities in here. I didn't realize those weren't in here. So just kind of what that looks like. Now, to be forewarned on our commercial foods and non-foods, well, now I am kind of freaking out that I don't have this in here. I guess I uploaded something different. trying to show you the vendor columns. There are columns, stop sharing here. There are columns that are going to ask you about the Buy American, enter an A or B on Buy American justification, which is required, and then a yes or no on does the product have prohibited ingredients. Now, that may be an unknown, and that's okay. But if you know if it does, please put a yes or a no. If you just don't know, put a U, and you'll see those instructions in the header cell. So the most amount of information you can provide to us is going to make all of our lives easier. All right, I think I've covered everything. And if, like I said, if you have questions, please drop them into Bonfire, get yourself logged in if you're interested in these bid opportunities, and drop in your questions. All right. Thanks for watching. Your attendance and time is greatly appreciated, and we're looking forward to a successful bid season and the outcome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.